Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Let's get the car started for this POV video, and it sounds pretty damn good right now. As you can see, something's different about the interior of my car. This video is coming out before the install, but I finally got the Seikan unit installed on my car. It looks great. I got all the wires and stuff from the install. I know I did the install last night. Have all the tools and stuff. Let's get those out of the way so we can start this video. But in today's video, we're talking about WRX 101, and look at that backup camera. It doesn't look too bad. I thought it was going to look bad, but it doesn't look too bad. But today's video, we're talking WRX 101, everything you need to know about WRXs. Specifically, we're talking about the F820 motor. We'll talk a little bit about F820 EJ motor, but that's the 2015 plus WRXs. A lot of this stuff is applicable to STIs as well. But let's not to get too far into here. Let's check out what I drive by rolling the intro to the channel, because if you aren't subscribed, you don't know what I drive. So let's check out the intro now. Well guys, now is the time to subscribe to the channel. I've got lots of parts coming onto the car, and it's just going to be generally a fun journey here. There's about 12 parts that I'm putting on the car in the next 2 weeks and making content about it. And with CPMs down, YouTube paying like crap, it's better, you know, if you enjoy the content, like the video, be sure to subscribe, be sure to comment. Any interaction's good, helps the channel. That's the best thing you guys can do for small content creators, whether it's me or somebody else in the community. So we're going to talk about WRX 101 here. Now, it's not just me driving. I'm going to do some polls in this video, but I'm going to get through the nitty-gritty stuff first. I'm going to probably do some polls a little bit later in the video, probably around 5 minutes into the video. We'll do a few small polls. I'm not going to push it too hard. Haven't been driving this car a ton because of quarantine, but let's start talking about it. So I wanted to address oil really quick because everybody asks it when they're getting into WRXs and F820 motors. The factory wants you to run 5W30. That's what you should run unless you're tuned or your tuner recommends 5W40. I would just run what the factory recommends until that time changes, because sometimes 5W40 is better if you're tuned. But I'm not going to go too far into that. There are tons of videos that talk about oil, what kind of content. But just in general, run the factory recommended oil until you're not supposed to, and that's usually going to be a tuner telling you, or if you're smart enough, not to say you're not smart, but if you know enough about the oil and you know when to run 5W40 versus 30, then run it there. And guys, get top of the shelf oil. Oils are all the same when you're getting top of the shelf oil. There's a couple good brands out there. Go for that. So WRX 101, what's the key part of a WRX that brings us all to this platform and all want to drive this car? And ultimately it's because the WRX is an all-round car. It's first and foremost a car that can get through almost anything. And for me, living in the Boston area, I love driving sports cars. You guys know I'm an auto enthusiast, and hence the name of the channel that I started a long time ago and didn't really know what to call it, so I called it the Auto Enthusiast, and I've stuck through since then. But I love driving sports cars. This is my second WRX. I had a Genesis Coupe. I've had a handful of cars in my lifetime, and I intend on continuing building and buying cars. So there's a lot of reasons here to have the WRX, and first and foremost, again, it's because it's an all-round, can get through anything car. It comes with all-wheel drive, can get through the snow, can get through rains. I mean, it's a great car, and it offers 4 doors, 4 seats. You can get an automatic transmission. I recommend the manual, and yes, I just had a bad shift there. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't want to talk about too much basic stuff here. This is really for the very soon-to-be owners or owners already that want to kind of hone together in their knowledge about WRXs. So, tunes are everything in the WRX world. Tunes unlock all the power that you could ever want. Tunes are what really make these cars awesome, and they fix a lot of problems from the factory. The 15 plus WRX has issues with revving, and I wish the guy in front of me would get out of the way. We're driving like 30 miles an hour on somewhere where I could really rip it, but it's whatever. We'll let him do his thing because it's quarantine. I'm gonna let him do his thing. But tunes are everything, and there are a lot of options for tuning. You can e-tune, pro tune. There's off-the-shelf tunes. The off-the-shelf tunes are okay. They aren't the greatest tune. They're not built for your car specifically. I'd say pro tuning or e-tuning are the best ways to go. It's designed to your car. You're gonna have the tuner actually work with your specific car, and I think altogether that's just the best option out there. And tunes are not only going to just improve your gas mileage, and they're not only going to just increase horsepower and torque, but they're going to solve a lot of the drivability things. They're going to make the power more linear. They're going to make the car more drivable. And, that's such a powerful thing with with these cars, and you can also unlock stupid power. Like, you know, add flex fuel and a tune, and you've made crazy power on these cars and done some really cool stuff with this platform. Tunes are what everybody is going to talk about, and I just think that it's something that it's important to consider when you buy these cars. They come with these factory warranties, but most of us are actually tuning the cars. Should I take a left here? I'm going to go straight, I think. I think there's better places to do polls. So, the tunes address the rev hang. Rev hang is something that's crappy that happens with these cars. It's when you shift out of first, the RPMs don't drop fast enough, and then you get this like jerk, or you have to wait. And yeah, I've made a video on rev hang. Check out my channel, and there's something that talks about it. So tunes will eliminate rev hang. Off-the-shelf tunes will really eliminate it, but a pro tune will make it go away completely. Let's put a little gas here, not too much. It's a 30. You know, I think it goes into a 25, so maybe a little conservative. There is a place up here though that I can do a pretty good pull. Again, I'm not going to do anything crazy because I'm just getting back into this car, driving it. You know, it's only been driven a couple times a week for the past like 6 weeks. So the next on our list is FA20 versus EJ. EJs come in STIs, FA20s are in WRXs. This is for 2015 plus. I think the EJ is done after this generation for the STI. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm guessing that's the case. The EJ has been around forever. Now, I chose the FA20. It makes a lot more power on flex fuel. It makes better gas mileage. That's a huge thing. It's a more efficient engine. It was also newer, and I think that my thought was that they solved a lot of problems. I had a great experience with the FA20 on my WRX CVT, and I went for an FA20 again. I'd love to get a 2020 STI, but not really necessarily for the engine, more for the suspension and just the other things that you get that come with an STI. Now, obviously the engine makes a little bit more power off the gate, and they're they're out of the gate, and there are a few other things that you can do with that car that you can't do, or cost a little bit more to do with the FA20. But that's a short nutshell FA20 versus EJ, and we're going to turn into this elderly home. I probably shouldn't be here, but I've been isolated for a while. Hopefully I don't have coronavirus. I've got no symptoms now. I'm just going to get through here because up here is where I can do a quick poll. And, kind of talking about doing polls and speeding up very quickly, if you guys catch my drift, you kind of pay to play on the WRX platform, and you get what you spend out of these cars. They're fairly, they're not crazy expensive to modify, but the more money you put in them, the more power you get out, and the more reliability, and the more torque, and the better it's done, and the less risk for blowing your engine. Let's just take a second here and enjoy this kind of like 3/4 pull. Let's go for it. I spent a little time there, but that felt pretty good. Spent a little time between gears. I didn't want to throw the transmission around too much. I think I can do one more pull up here. That's my guess. We'll see if it actually happens. But again, you pay to play on this platform, and it's kind of, if you don't spend a lot of money on your parts, you're not going to get much out of your parts. If you don't spend a lot of money and you try to go on the cheap, you might risk your engine and transmission and many other things. So you're paying to play, and I think there's not much more to be said, but we're going to do another poll here. That was me telling myself we should do another poll because I like to look at this stuff, in post and make sure I'm doing all the right things. And if I don't like what I've said, I voice over. So let's do a little poll here. Just to say it, huge mistake. The road's been pulled up, and it's like the gravel that goes underneath the cement asphalt, and it's not where you should do a pull with snow tires on. So yeah, we'll do one more when this light turns green. That being said, reliability with these cars comes with care and proper care, and I think paying to play, that kind of concept, again, didn't need to expand too much there. It makes sense to everybody. Reliability coming with care. So these cars, if you take care of them, you'll get the most out of them, and they'll cost you the least amount over a long period of time. Let's go for a pull here. Not bad for a 3/4 throttle pull there, maybe a little bit more, not foot to the floor. But yeah, so if you take care of these cars properly, you're going to get the most out of it. You're going to get a car that lasts the longest period of time, and that's not a guarantee because things happen with cars when you tune them and you build them, but if you take care of it, you spend the money in the right places, you put the effort in the right places, you do your oil changes, you give it good gas, you take care of it, you keep it in the garage, you check all your fluids, those things are going to help you later on the line when you're taking care of the car, with reliability, with everything about this car. And I highly recommend understanding proper care in these cars and maintaining it. You know, don't forget about your car. And now that I think about it, when I'm making this video, I need to do my oil change. It's been 3,000 miles, but it's been like 3 or 4 months, which is a lot for a tuned vehicle. So I need to do my oil change. I gotta catch myself. And the last thing that are like kind of these broad spectrum wisdom pieces, and I don't like to talk too much about the wisdom pieces, but knowledge is power here. If you know the car, you're gonna be able to take care of it. If you know that you need a tune on an air intake, use a tune. Don't put an air intake without a tune. Like that is the perfect example. There are so many owners that step into this platform, they put an air intake on their car, and they run it for 10,000 miles without a tune. Some intakes might need a tune, but if you want anything out of the intake, you need a tune, and most intakes require a tune, and you risk damaging your engine if you don't use a tune. So that's my comment there. The other two big things here is Cobb owns the world. The Cobb Accessport, Cobb owns you. There's no discounting with Cobb. You're going to pay upfront price for what they listed it for unless you buy used. So just understand that Cobb owns the world. If you want to tune your car, it's really the Cobb Accessport. So be prepared. That's a cost that you're going to have to pay. There's no wiggle room there. Even if you buy them used, you're looking at $450. So Cobb owns the world. The Accessport is a whole nother question. I've got a video coming out soon about my Accessport numbers and what you should be seeing, but the Accessport is what a lot of people like to call the anxiety port. It's something that us owners, because I do it myself, stare at all the time when you're driving because you're so worried about knock. And again, I've got another video that's going to talk about knock and all the good stuff you need to know about DAM, Find Knock Learn, actual knock, and all the other things that you should be monitoring with your Accessport or your anxiety port. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is WRX 101, and such an important part about the WRX is the community that's behind it. And there's a big difference between the online community and the in-person community. The WRX community in person, and when you see people do the Subi wave and all those things, is just awesome. People that you interact with that have other Subarus and WRXs and STIs are some of the coolest people ever. Now, if you're online, be prepared to get roasted. The online community is totally different, and it's not bad people, but it's definitely different. And I don't want to get too far into it because I know a lot of you guys are online right now, so thank you for watching. I appreciate it.